Hari Om. In this video, we are going to talk about the database connectivity with a .NET application. The topic comes under Module 5 of C# and .NET Programming course. Apart from the database access and .NET components, we have other topics like these: assemblies, versioning, attributes, reflection, etc. So we'll be discussing all these topics in the upcoming videos. In this video, we are going to talk about what is a database access and .NET components and how ADO.NET is used for database access. So before we start with, all of us know that whenever you have a desktop application or a web application, you may need to save the data for permanent storage. So your application may want to interact with your database server, or I can say the .NET application wants to access the data from a database server, or it may want to store the data into the database server. Now when you have this question, your .NET application will be developed using C# language, whereas your database server may be a PostgreSQL or a MySQL database server, or it may be MS Access, or it may be Oracle, or any other database management system for that matter. If so, the question that arises here is whether a direct data access is possible between the desktop or web application and the database server. So if you ask me this, I can say the direct data access is not at all possible, because the .NET application and using C# language is completely a different programming code, and the database server, which is using any of these database management system, is using a completely different language. So this is using a structured query language, whereas this is using a high level language. If so, the direct data access from the .NET application to the database server is not at all possible. Now the question is, if so, if I want my application to save the database or to communicate with the database, how do you connect it? So you have your C# language .NET application. This side you have the database server, and you want these two components to communicate, for which I am going to have an interface between the web application and the database server, or the desktop application and the database server. Since both of them are using different languages, what do? You keep a mediator. The mediator is generally called as an application programming interface. Make a note of it. It is application programming interface. So I use an API between a .NET application and the database server. So what happens now? Your application will communicate to the interface. The interface will be transforming the request as per the as per the structure of the database server, and it will be sent to the database server. The same way, when it is retrieving the data, it will retrieve the data from the database server, and it will be transforming it so that the C# language or the .NET application can understand what is given by the, or what is accessed from the database server. So Whenever you want to have a database access to your .NET application, you always require an application programming interface, which is nothing but the ADO.NET. I call it as ADO.NET, which is an application programming interface that acts between the .NET application and database server for the effective interaction, or you can say for the effective database access. If so, the next question is, what is ADO? So ADO is a Microsoft technology. We have already seen .NET is developed by the Microsoft, and for .NET framework they have created a special language called the C# programming language, and that was exclusively developed for the .NET framework. Apart from that, the Microsoft also has developed ADO technology. ADO is nothing but ActiveX data objects. ActiveX data objects. So you are going to use this object, ActiveX data object, which is a predefined or a built-in object that is already available in your .NET framework. So this is, you can also call it as ActiveX component, and it will be generally installed automatically with the Microsoft Internet Information Service also. So you can easily connect an ADO with your web application. If you want to run a web application, you need IIS, which is nothing but Internet Information Service. Internet Information Service. So as you have Apache as the web server in the Linux environment, here for Windows you have Internet Information Service. So ADO is a programming interface. It is an application programming interface to access data in a database. Not only that, ADO.NET is Microsoft data access technology. So here we have seen what is ActiveX data object, which is nothing but an ActiveX component developed by Microsoft, and it can also be used with any web application, and it is purely an application programming interface. So why I insist it is an application programming interface is, you can't use ADO as a standalone component. This acts as an interface between an application and a database server. And ADO.NET is the data access technology used in .NET framework, and it is also an integral part of the .NET framework. It is an upgrade of ADO, which you have seen in the previous slide. Your ADO.NET provides an extensive set of .NET classes that facilitate efficient access to data from a large variety of data sources. When I say here sources, it is nothing but the different data sources. So if you have ADO.NET in your .NET environment, it can provide you a lot of classes. All these classes are built-in classes, predefined classes, and using those classes you can have efficient access to the data from a variety of data sources, and it will also enable you to implement inter-application communication and Windows and web services. So not only your data access, it also enables communication between Windows application and web services. ADO.NET is nothing but a collection of classes. So all these slides show you the different definitions that can be given for ADO.NET. ADO.NET is a collection of classes that expose methods and attributes, as you have methods and attributes for all the different classes that are available in C Sharp, here also we have lots of methods and attributes. All these methods and attributes are used to manage the communication between an application and a data store. So just recollect some of the predefined classes we have already discussed. All those classes, say for example, array is a class which is already available. Array list is also a class which is already available. String is a class which is a predefined class, or string builder is a predefined class. All these classes are having their own methods and properties. In the same way, ADO.NET is also having a set of classes. All these classes have methods and attributes, and these methods and attributes are used for what? They are used for managing the communication between an application and a data source. And since it is an integral part of .NET framework, it simplifies the integration of data sharing in distributed ASP.NET application. So we have, in our previous video, we have discussed how to develop a window based ASP.NET application. A desktop. We have seen a desktop application using .NET environment, and we have also seen how to develop a web application which is called as ASP.NET application. Now, if you want your desktop application or your ASP.NET application to integrate with any data sharing environment, you can use the ADO.NET framework as the interface. And ADO.NET, it provides access to structured data from diverse sources. That is the interesting part of ADO.NET. It is not going to simply connect to your database management system, but it can connect to different kinds of sources. Your ADO.NET can be used in any consumer application that needs to connect or to manipulate to data sources such as Microsoft SQL Server, OLEDB, etc. So why I have included this particular point is your ADO.NET provides a structured data, provides access to structured data from diverse sources. In the previous slide, we have seen the database servers can be of a PSQL, or it can be MySQL, or it can be Microsoft Access or Oracle, or even it can be a Microsoft SQL Server, or it can be OLEDB. Like that, any kind of data source can be connected using the ADO.NET. That is why it says it provides access to structured data from diverse sources. So variety of data sources can be connected to your application using ADO.NET. And the interesting point here is you can connect your application to more than one data sources at the same time. Say for example, your application can be connected to a PSQL server, it can be connected to a Microsoft SQL server, or it can be connected to an Oracle server, or all the three can be connected to a application. So that is the advantage of using the ADO.NET. Now, when you take ADO.NET, you can call it as a bridge between the front-end controls and the back-end database. So, your Windows or your desktop application or your web application can be called as a front-end control, whereas your MySQL or your PostgreSQL or your Microsoft SQL server can be called as the back-end database. So your ADO.NET is going to act as a bridge, because we have already seen in the diagram it is acting as a interface between the application and the database server. So your application is what you call as front-end controls, and the database server is what you call as backend database. So your ADO.NET is acting as a bridge between the front-end control, which is nothing but a window or a web-based application, and a backend database, which will be your database server. And the ADO.NET objects will encapsulate all the data access operations. So when I say all the data access operations, all the operations are used to control interaction with these objects to display the data. Now when I say operations, say for example, you might have already come across in your DBMS lab how you create a database. How do you create a table in a database? How do you select the rows or the records from a table? How do you insert a record into a table? How do you update a table in your database? So these are the different data access operations that you can do. Say selection, insertion, updation or deletion. So all these data access operations can be done using the ADO.NET objects. So that is why it becomes a very effective application programming interface to do all the kind of data access operations. And it says it encapsulates. That means you use only one object. You will have one object. That object will be used for manipulating all the kind of data access operations. That is the interesting part of ADO.NET object. Now when you take ADO.NET, you can call it as an object-oriented set of libraries, because already we have seen it is going to contain lots of classes. It is containing a collection of classes. So whenever I say collection of classes, obviously it comes under object-oriented approach. So ADO.NET is an object-oriented set of libraries, and it allows interaction with different kinds of data sources. When I say different kinds of data sources, let us see what are the different data sources that we can use. It can be your relational database management system, or it can be a plain text file, or it can be your Excel spreadsheet, or even it can be an XML file, etc. So when you use an ADO.NET, it contains set of libraries. All these set of libraries are object-oriented set of libraries, and these libraries allow you to interact with different data sources, variety of data sources. What are the different data sources that you can connect? Using a ADO.NET object, you can connect to your database, something like your PSQL or your MySQL. Or your ADO.NET can be connected to a plain text file. Say for example, in a folder you have 10 different text files. You want to retrieve some data from the text file, or you want to create some data into the text file. That can also be done. Or even you want to update a text file using a ADO.NET object, you can do that. Or you want to take data or manipulate in an Excel spreadsheet, that is also possible. Not only that, most of the web applications will be using XML file as a data storage. So you can have your ADO.NET to interact with an XML file also. So you can see here variety of data sources are manipulated using one application programming interface, which is called as ADO.NET. Now here in our discussion, we are not going to talk about how it is interacting with a text file, Excel spreadsheet or XML file. We will be discussing how different types of databases are being connected to a .NET application using ADO.NET. Do you get me? So we are not going to talk about how ADO.NET is interacting with text file or your Excel spreadsheet or your XML file. Rather, we will be discussing how ADO.NET helps in connecting to databases such as Microsoft SQL Server or Microsoft Access or IBM Database 2 or Oracle Borland Interbase or to a MySQL, etc. So, how different objects are used for connecting to different types of databases we will be discussing. Now, so far we were just talking about what is ADO.NET, why ADO.NET is used for having effective communication between a .NET application and a database server. So in essence, you can understand .NET application and database server cannot communicate directly. The direct data access is not possible. So you need to place an interface between a .NET application and a database server. That interface is what you call as ADO.NET. And we have seen what is ADO.NET. Now the next question is, if I have such a kind of application programming interface, what is the kind of architecture being followed by the ADO.NET? So if you see the architecture, this is the ADO.NET architecture. You can see here there will be a data provider in the ADO.NET architecture. You have a data set, you have a data store, you have a data reader. The same can also be represented like this. You have a data set, you have data inside the data set, you have all these kinds of objects such as table, rows, columns, primary key, views, etc. Another diagrammatic representation is here where your window form, web form or any other application can communicate with ADO.NET. You can see here ADO.NET. So ADO.NET is using two components. One is a data provider, the other one is a data set. And your data set or your data provider can be connected to your data source. And here you can have your .NET application. And this is another interesting diagrammatic representation for your ADO.NET architecture. Your ADO.NET has components like data provider and a data set. So your data provider and the data set can be connected to a window form or a web form or any other .NET application. Now, when you see this diagrammatic representation, see the same concept is given in different form. This ADO.NET architecture says that ADO.NET contains a component called as data provider. Inside the data provider, you have a connection object, you have a command object, you have a data adapter object, and outside this you have a data reader which will be communicating to a data source. Apart from that, it is having another component called as data set. So inside data set, you have the relation collection or you have the table collection. So just this data set is given here in this diagram. Just the data set component is given in detail in this particular diagram. Or I can have another diagrammatic representation for the ADO.NET architecture where this is your front-end control. Please make a note of it. The window form, web form and this others, this box is what you call as front-end control. And the bottom data source is what you call as backend database. This is what you call as backend database. Please make a note of it. This is a backend database and this is a front-end control. Now this .NET application, which is otherwise called as front-end control, will communicate to the data source either by using a data provider or by using a data set. In another diagrammatic representation, the same is given like this, where if you want to interact with any database, the database is here, and these are the front-end applications. You can call them as data consumers. So you have the database here on the left side. Database will be communicating to the ADO.NET and the ADO.NET will communicate to the applications. And your ADO.NET contains two major components. One is called as data provider, the other one is called as data set. Your data provider contains connection object, command object, data adapter and data reader. So I recommend all of you to recollect the points that you have discussed in your JDBC, and whatever concepts you have studied in JDBC, all those things can be related with your ADO.NET architecture also. We will be discussing all these things in detail, how the connection object, command object, data adapter, data reader or data set will be used in the application interaction. Now, the one point that I have to specify or emphasize here, whenever I am using a data provider, your application will be communicating to a command and the application will be communicating to a data reader. Now these command and data reader will have a connection. What is this connection all about? The connection is the object which is connected to the database, any specific database for that matter. For example, you can have a MySQL database connected to the connection object. And using this connection object, you can execute any database queries, something like insert query or select query or update query. Any query can be executed. And if you want to retrieve the data from the query such as select query, you can use a data reader, and this data reader will be sending the data, or it will be sending the retrieved data from the database to these applications. And not only that, your application can also work in the offline mode. Now let me tell you what is offline mode. Whenever I am using command and data reader, I need a live connection to the database. Your connection object must be connected to the database. Only then the command object or data reader will function. Whereas, if you don't want to have live connection, what you can do? You can use a data set. So you retrieve all the data to the data set, then you disconnect from the database. Then your data set will be doing all the manipulation. Once the manipulations are completed, again you connect to the database and write the data to the database. I repeat, if I am using the command and data reader objects, I need a live connection to the database. So if the connection is closed, your command and data reader will not be working. So what you have to do? You have to always open the collection. Only then these things will be manipulating on the database. So whatever you are manipulating, it is done directly on this database. Whereas here what you do? Using the data adapter, you retrieve a set of tables or records and store it in a data set. Then you disconnect from the database. You close the database connection. Now what the application will do? The application will be working only on this data set. All the manipulation will be done on the data set. So once you feel like all the manipulations are done, at the end of the day, you can move all these manipulated or updated data to the live connection. You re-establish the connection and move all the updated data to the original database. So this is for offline database connection, whereas these three are used for online database connection. So when we discuss the demo program, I think it will become more clear for you. And for the time being, let us stop what is ADO.NET discussion, and we will be discussing all these data provider components and the dataset class etc. in the upcoming video. Thank you.